McBurnie. Back to Solanke! The birthday boy gets a birthday goal. And Dominic Solanke just can't stop finding the back of the net. Energy into their forward play. Little link up with Billy, that's nice. And now David Brooks into the box. Shoots it in the back of the net, David Brooks. It was Solanke, in fact, with the link up, and David Brooks fired it across sandbar.
Good evening, everyone. Cherries Red Army, Kirk here. It's Friday night. It's another match preview. Bournemouth kick off the Championship weekend against Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. Early kick-off on Sky Sports. Of course it is. But we got to talk about it, and we've got lots going on tonight. We need you to get involved. We've got Opposition View. We've got Matt Davies joining us for the Cherries. We've got that predicted 11. We've got your score predictions. And to say I'm nervous is a bit of an understatement. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We are about 15 subscribers away from our next milestone. So make sure you share Cherries Red Army across socials, retweets, really does help. Also, at some point in this video, going to need you to hit the like button because that also helps this video grow over the next few hours as we lead up to kickoff. This evening, it's live like it normally is on a Friday night, and you can use that interactive chat. We welcome both sets of fans. Make sure you let us know your thoughts. We'll show as many thoughts on the screen as possible. If you weren't able to join us live, you can let us know how you feel about this fixture in the comments. We'll read every single one. Right, it's Blades against the Cherries. Let's get our guests on. I am nervous. Here we go then, lads. Let's welcome back to Cherries Red Army, Matt Davies. This is going to be a tough game tomorrow. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, Kirk. Yourself?
Yeah, really doing well. And our opposition guest on this match preview is Johnny from the Shoreham View. Thanks for joining us, Johnny.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
And we are going to get stuck into this fixture in a bit. But tell us a bit about the Shoreham View, Johnny. And you've got your own preview out. I think I'm on it as well. Yeah, tell us a bit about it.
Usually we'd have a beer and breakfast. It's our budget version of Soccer AM on a match day morning, but with it being an early kickoff, and nobody's got time for that. So we'll just put the fan previews out, which you're on. We do obviously we do the beer and breakfast. We've got the match previews. We also do vlogs, which are kind of the main event because it's just drunk football fans having a really disappointing away day usually. So who don't like that?
And I've made it even easier for you to go and check out Shoreham View's preview. It's in the description below. So after this stream, just click the link and go and watch that one as well. Right, let's come straight to you first, Johnny. Sheffield United, I know we did a prediction at the start of the season. We thought you'd be very strong in the Championship, as most teams are when they get relegated from the Premier League. I thought you had a very good manager taking you forward in this Championship season. But before we get looking into where you currently are with your current manager, it didn't quite work out.
No.
Why?
I think sometimes a manager just doesn't fit a club. You'd expect a lot of hard work, a lot of graft from a manager like Slav, looking at the kind of player he used to be. But it was a lot of pretty passing and keeping it in your own half and then trying to slowly build a counter-attack. One, that's just not what we're built for. The players we've got available are never going to be able to put that kind of game plan into force. And we don't have the money to go and buy players. Well, we possibly do. It'll just be invested in one of the Prince's other clubs off yonder somewhere. So I just think it was a match made in hell, really. If we'd had money available for Slav to bring his own players in, it maybe could have worked, but it was never going to be the case. So we've gone back to a Yorkshire lad now, where I think he kind of understands a bit more what we're about.
I'll get your thoughts on Sheffield United in a moment, Matt, but we're going to see who's currently joining us this evening. We got Chris Hubble, he's a Cherries fan. We got Sammy, also Cherries Red Army supporter member. Mark Cole, hope you're doing very, very well. We've got Duncan, got Mark Singleton, Carol, and AFC Bournemouth Germany. Anyone else joining us, let us know in the chat and even tell us where you're joining us from. But yeah, going back to Sheffield United at the start of the season, Matt, I mean, I thought they had a brilliant manager. We were linked with him as well a little bit when we were looking for a manager. But if there was a good to come out of that, because we were good at the start of the season, was we thought playoffs would be decent for us. And when teams like Sheffield United and West Brom were struggling, we thought, hang on, we might be all right here. We might have a chance.
Yeah, it sort of opened up for us. I mean, Sheffield United were obviously amongst the pre-season favourites, and they were certainly among my pre-season favourites for obvious reasons. I was actually quite surprised that they were relegated. You were relegated, Johnny, to be honest, when you were, because I thought, you know, you had a great first season up, didn't you, with Chris Wilder? I was really impressed with you at Dean Court. I think it was first game of the season, wasn't it? 1-1. Thought you showed a great attitude, great togetherness, a great team spirit. And, you know, mixed up with some real quality in the squad and in the side as well. So it was a surprise that I think it was probably, second season syndrome a little bit. And it just seemed to spiral, didn't it, out of control that season. You couldn't get any momentum and, you know, things conspired to go against you a little bit. But obviously getting relegated, appointing Jukanovic, and with the squad that you had, I felt that you would be top two. I really did. And I've got... I actually used to work in a company that was Sheffield based. So I've got a few lads that are United fans, and, you know, they were expecting the same really, pre-season. They were thinking, got to be knocking on the door top two, and it just didn't happen for you, did it, at the start? And I think it was that hangover, obviously, from relegation that kicked in. And you know what the Championship's like very well, Johnny, don't you? And once you get on a bad run and get into a rut, it's difficult to pull yourself out of it. You know, one bad result leads to another. And I think that the change just had to be made, as you rightly said. I just don't think it happened, did it, for you, Jukanovic? It just wasn't a fit at the football club. But the fact that you've got Heckingbottom in now, Yorkshire lad, he's relatable, isn't he? He's going to have an affinity with the fans. He's going to connect with them. And what he will do is he'll get instill a work ethic into the play and a togetherness into the playing squad. And he's certainly very much done that, hasn't he, since he's come in. So I'm not surprised to see you where you are. Even when you were down in the sort of lower echelons of the league at early season, I was still thinking they could easily go on a run here and still move their way up the league. And that's very much been the case. You might just have out of time a little bit for the top two. You might just run out of time a little bit to get that. But
I think that's down to you, not us, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think as far as the playoffs go, I think I very much see you in there. And I think anybody who comes across you in the playoffs, we know what Bramall Lane can be like when it's full up and electric. It'll be a tough place to go for anyone. So I think you've got as good a chance as anybody else, really, and if it is to be the playoffs for you. So, yeah.
Johnny.
Until we get to Wembley, Matt, I just add, we never win there.
Well, we'll see. Johnny, so Matt's touched on it there. Paul Heckingbottom seems to be your go-to man when times are hard. Tell me why. And he definitely has turned around your fortunes. You're very strong at home. I wish I was playing you away, to be honest with you, at Dean Court, shall I say. But yeah, Paul Heckingbottom seems to have got some decent form out of you, and you're right back in it.
Yeah, I mean, when Eki was first brought in last season, had you follow Chris Wilder, had you come in and save a squad that's just morale on the floor, like dragging the bellies across everything? You can't. But where the mistake was made is, why not trust him? The guy's done wonders at the academy. He's worked wonders with bringing young players through and developing them. He's got an affinity with the senior players. They all get on with him. So why bring in somebody who sounds like Sideshow Bob stepping on a rake when you could have brought Heckingbottom straight in and gone for it? I think it would down to trying to get season ticket holders through the door. A marquee signing a Slav rather than cheap, cheerful Paul Heckingbottom. But as we can see, sometimes cheap and cheerful is the right way to go. I just think that he's got more of an understanding of not just the club, not just of Yorkshire, but of the players. Look where he's managed. Barnsley had to do wonders with a shoestring budget. He went to Leeds, didn't have the best of time. I don't think Mourinho would have had the best of times at Leeds, or Pep would have had the best of time at Leeds at that point. They would have got sacked after 2 weeks because that's just the type of club they were. And then he went on to Hibs. Unless you're Celtic and Rangers, what do you do in Scottish football? There's literally nothing to do. So I think he got a bit of a bad reputation. So he went back to the academies, and I think that's where we've saved a lot of money. Because if he'd gone to a decent club, which would have backed him, given him a chance to prove what he can do, he could have been a Premier League manager by now. I think he has got it in him, especially coaching wise. Let's just hope it's wheels. And as far as playoffs go, I've said all season we're going to lose in playoff final. That's just what we do.
Well, your last game then in the Championship was in midweek against QPR. I'm not surprised that you beat QPR. I writ off QPR absolutely months ago. Any team managed by Warburton's not going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. So, but you beat them. You got the result. It's another good result at home. You're not conceded. You look like you're very strong defensively at home as well. But you got the job done, and you got the 3 points, and you're back in the playoffs, as I said again. But talk about that 1-0 win in your last Championship fixture.
Any other club, that's a 0-0 or possibly a 1-0 defeat for Sheffield United. QPR are just awful, which is surprising to say because they looked really good first half of the season. They looked a strong unit. They looked like they could really take it to any team they came up against. But our problem isn't we haven't got a game plan or a tactic that works at the minute. Our problem is we have one player come back from injury and then 2 more go out. Best player at the club, 77-year-old William Bloody Sharp. Old man Sharp. Still our best striker, injured. Gibbs White's got nobody to feed off. Ollie McBurnie he's not going to be the goal scorer we want him to be, unfortunately. So it was what it was. It was a cheap set piece that worked out, and we nicked a 1-0, which worries me now because we've got obviously yourselves coming up where you're going to be, I dare say you'll be a bit more adventurous than QPR were.
Matt, 1-0 to Sheffield United. As I said, I wasn't surprised. And they're just ticking the wins over, especially at home.
Well, they did what they had to do. You did what you had to do, Johnny, didn't you, in midweek? And that's grind out 3 points. I mean, that's more important than anything else at this stage of the season. Clean sheets and 3 points at home. I'm sure you'd have taken it before the game, and you'd have certainly taken it after the game. I think Saturday's a different game. I agree. I think we have to come out. Obviously, the result that we've had on Wednesday night means that there'll be a little bit of nerves in our camp. We're looking over our shoulders again. We've thrown away an opportunity to extend the gap again. We're letting other teams behind us back in again, and nobody else has been able to capitalise on that so far. Everybody else is slipping up. Nobody's showing the consistency, really. So we've been let off the hook. But on Saturday, and we're getting right towards the crunch of it now, the business end of the season, I feel like with the running that we've got, we're going to have to come to your place and to Sheffield United and pick up some sort of result, really, to keep ourselves firmly in there. So it'll be a tough game, and I think you're the same. I think you need the points as well, still, don't you, to cement your place in the playoffs. So I can see, I'm not saying there'll be loads of goals, but I think both teams have got a need, haven't they? Both teams, need to pick up the points at this crucial stage of the season. So it'll be a case of who turns up on the day, who wants it more, and who shows more quality ultimately.
Do you think? Sorry, I was just going to ask, do you think that it'll be going with the same side that played West Brom, or do you think it's going to be finally time for a Parker shake-up?
Well, we do a predictive 11 later on in this preview, but we do believe there'll be changes. We won't talk players at the moment because we'll spoil the rest of the show for later on. But if you look at the team that we faced against West Brom, I wouldn't expect it to be the same 11 that it was for the last 3 games. I think it's definitely going to force Scott Parker's hands. I think he was sort of. He could have gone into West Brom and made changes, and if we had lost it, fans would have said, "Why'd you change it? We'd won 2 out of 2, whatever." But I think we needed to change it, and he didn't, and I think he will on Saturday. Just focusing on Bournemouth a little bit more, Matt. We talked about West Brom, terrible performance, poor goals we conceded, didn't deal with Andy Carroll, schoolboy defending, 17 shots at the goal, none on target. You're not going to get any points with that sort of return, are you?
No, you're not. And I don't want to come here and come on tonight and be too negative, because we're second in the league still with a with a decent sized gap still, and it's there for us, isn't it? You know, with the games we've got remaining, it's still well within our hands, and we'll be firm favourites to get the job done. This is the Championship. This can happen, as we've said all season. You know, any team in this league, maybe with the exception of Fulham, with the riches that they've got and the players they've got and the squad they've got at their disposal, albeit we you know, I feel like we've got similar really. Have not been able to string that consistency together. We've done it better than the teams behind us, but you're going to get a bump in the road. You're going to hit a blip. West Brom away is, you know, not a game you can take for granted. So it was always going to be a tough game for us. But after the last two games, Huddersfield away, where the performance was fantastic in response to a lot of very questionable displays, shall we say. We came out of Huddersfield and really stamped our authority on the game and attacked the game like we know we can. And we did similar really against Bristol City, didn't we? And the margin of victory should have been far greater than what it was. So you were sort of encouraged by that. And you felt that we turned the corner in terms of our playing style and the way we were approaching matches with the squad and the players that we've got at our disposal. Wednesday night just seemed like that we were reverting back to how we were a little bit. Got off to a terrible start, you know, defensive lapses, messing around at the back, you know, getting punished. Carroll gets the wrong side, and you just it's deja vu a little bit. And we're 2 down. We give ourselves a mountain to climb, and it's always going to be different from that moment on, isn't it? 2-0 down, but we never to have no shots on target really throughout the whole game. And what was it? 17 shots, none on target. With the side that we, you know, they bringing on the likes of Todd Cantwell and you know, Siriki Dembele. You know, Johnny, while we're listing these players, you know, they're players that you'd love to have at your disposal, I'm sure. You know, and any other Championship side would say the same. You know, we've got a massive of quality and of riches ourselves. So that's why when we do perform not so well, we're going to question it. Parker's going to come under pressure. You know, the team's going to come under pressure because, you know, expectation is gone through the roof within our fan base. And as we've said before, quite rightly so, really, in many ways. So it was a disappointing defeat.
You say with it, a lot of these players, these high-flying players, Campbells, etc. I still can't believe you got rid of Cook, for one. A gritty player you need for the Championship. Gary Cahill's not playing
Don't get us started, Johnny.
I don't get it from an outsider looking in, if I'm honest. Yeah. And I'm hoping, like, from my side of things, that you keep not playing Cahill and you keep leaving Campbell on the bench. And I'm hoping Billings not playing because he's the kind of player that will have a field day against us. So you have got the spine there for a good team. It's just finding that right combination. And whereas we know our best combination, we just can't use it because they're all dead. So we can't do it.
Johnny, I know you cover mainly Sheffield United, but I know that you also do Championship stuff as well.
Yeah.
Was that a surprise that Bournemouth lost 2-0 against West Brom? Because we have had some dog performances throughout the season.
We lost to West Brom 4-0 at the beginning of the season, so nothing surprises me. Absolutely nothing surprises me in the Championship. Look at Luton, high-flying, and then 1-0 with Peterborough. Peterborough were already relegated, fighting for nothing. It's just beating teams. Reading, but on paper, one of the best teams in the division cohesively, just turning up nothing. So nothing surprises me. The biggest surprise of that game were Andy Carroll scoring, and it went an header. You hear it in your head, it's like, Carroll scored. Oh, header, no. What?
No.
It just don't make any sense.
So let's start to look at Sheffield United right now then, Johnny. I was having a look at the stats. This is what I do. I go into it, and when you look at, I'm going to feed some stuff to you now, Johnny, that I'm sure you know. At home, you've got a plus 19 goal difference better than on the road. I think you've only conceded 10 goals in the first half of games, 4 losses in 23 games, 10 clean sheets at home. I mean, you look really strong. That's not doing anything for my confidence.
It's very, very deceptive. I'll give you that much. We've managed to grind out some horrible, disgusting, gritty hours that happen wins. And I love those types of wins. I prefer them to I don't prefer them to a 4-0 smashing. I don't. I'm lying. But I do. I prefer it in some games, if that makes sense. When you know you've got to win ugly. I'd rather go for it and possibly lose 1-0 than play for a 0-0 draw any day of the week. And that's one thing that we have got in this side is we'll always look for a win at home. Away from home, maybe not being as strong. We kind of get found out a bit at times. It's just one of those strange facts where I don't think we've been playing particularly well. I think apart from Wes, who's our player of the season, I don't know why we even brought Robin Olsen in. Wes has proved that he should have been number one from the very start. You've got young players like Morgan Gibbs-White, who I wish to God was our player. Illiman and Dye, who was a phenomenal young talent. And we're getting the best out of these players and then losing them. So we're having to try and find a best 11 every game. And somehow it's working. Not sure how, but it is.
Some players we're going to be potentially aware of tomorrow, Matt. Billy Sharp, I think, struggling with a hamstring injury, so he might be on the bench, might not be. He's got 14 goals. Johnny's just mentioned Gibbs-White with 9 goals. And you still look at their squad. I'm going to show it on the screen in a minute, because after you've given me your thoughts on some of those players, Matt, I'm going to want Johnny to tell us who he thinks will start tomorrow. I'm going to show the team that started against QPR. When you still look at their team, it's a strong team.
It's a really strong squad. Probably you'd have to put it up there. Well, as an outsider looking in, I would put it up there probably behind ourselves and Fulham in that sort of, certainly within the top 6 of the division in terms of the squad on paper. I'm not sure what you think about that, Johnny, but you do seem to have a lot of quality still within it. What surprises me, one signing that I think was fantastic for you, and you've already touched upon it, was Morgan Gibbs-White. And I think we were linked with him earlier on in the season before he went to yourselves. And it was one that raised an eyebrow for me, because I thought, that's a lad that I'd like to see. He's young, he's hungry, he's keen, he's got some real quality about him as well. What's he got? 9 goals and 7 assists, Johnny, is that right?
That's right, yeah. He can play where he is there up front, or he can also slot straight behind the strikers. So he gives you a good utility performance as well.
Absolutely, and that's my point. He doesn't just weigh in with, it's not all about the goals. He's weighing in with assists as well. So that tells me that he's an all-round player and somebody that you want to have in your front line. So he's going to be a real threat. Ollie McBurnie is what I would describe as maybe a bit of an old-school target man, really. Is he yet to score? What's he scored for you this season? Not many.
None. 0.
None.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
No, every club said this. Don't worry about it. Every club says that.
What he does he offers you not a plan B as such, but if you do need to go long, he's there to pick up the pieces, isn't he, and bring other players into play. That would be the idea.
It's funny you mention it, because he doesn't offer any of that, unfortunately.
Does he not?
he wins the most aerial duels in the division.
Yeah.
So I understand where that had come from. They're all in midfield. He is
too deep.
Yeah. He doesn't sit in a striker's target man position. And when we signed him, we all thought the exact same as you. And the more we've watched him, the more we've realised he's less of a Crouch and a Carroll, and more of a really tall Charlie Austin, where he likes it to hold it up and then maybe make a run behind, which you wouldn't expect for a kid his size. But the problem is, we play him as a target man when it obviously doesn't work. The goals he has scored against us, against Man U, against Brighton, all the goals in the Premier League, they've been with his feet. So I think it kind of shows where we're going wrong with him and maybe not getting the best out of him. Because I was saying the exact same as you just then at the beginning of the season. We need to bring him on as a plan B. We need him as a physical presence. We need that target man as a different option. The problem is, after watching him, he doesn't offer that. And it's like, well, that's 20 million well spent.
So how different will that team look tomorrow afternoon then, Johnny?
Oliver McBurnie is a doubt. Sander Berger should be all right. Stevens and Baldock are still facing fitness tests. Filip Oremovic, I think I pronounced that right. Is that right? Oremovic, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
He made his debut.
I trust you more than I trust me.
He made his debut the other day and came off after 60 minutes. So who knows? Ben Davies has only just come back, so there's every chance that Jack Robinson could slot in there. It all depends who gets injured in training, because we've got an awful training pitch, which I've labelled the pitch of doom. Soft tissue injuries every week. So once we think we've got a set-up side, what comes Saturday morning, there'll be about 4 or 5 different surprises in there.
Okay, so we'll have to see. So there might be quite a few changes for Bournemouth when we get into the predicted 11, and maybe not many for Sheffield United. I want to just pick you up on something. It's great to have you on as a Sheffield United fan, and you'll know, well, Cherries Red Army and Cherries fans will know, following Cherries Red Army for a while, that I've always backed Rhian Brewster to rip up any league, and he hasn't. And I want to know why this player that did so well for Swansea, who scored 1 every 2 games, suddenly can't score goals, and I know he's not going to make this game probably the rest of the season, but why can't Rhian Brewster do what he was doing at Swansea?
Here's the very frustrating part. It was just starting to before he got injured. It was just starting to look like the player he was at Swansea. Premier League, when a young lad gets that much money spent on him in the Premier League and doesn't hit the ground running, everybody's on your back, from the press to pundits. Everybody's on your back. The kid his age don't need that, and that's knocked his confidence levels right down. Come to the Championship, I don't think Slav knew what to do with him. We had him playing as an outside forward, a winger, sitting behind the strikers. It doesn't work. You stick the lad up front and let him do his business. Let him go out there and try and grab a goal. And once he started doing that, picked up a few goals here, started to look better on the ball, started to gain more confidence. And just before he got injured, he was starting to look like the player we signed. And then in Sheffield United fashion, he's out for the rest of the season.
Well, that's unfortunate, because we've got a player in the same mould in Dominic Solanke, who was under the same sort of pressure, came to us for similar money in the Premier League. Everybody coming down on him like a ton of bricks when he wasn't getting in the team, wasn't performing. And when he did play, performances were sketchy and ineffective, shall we say, to say the least. But he's been able to get a run of games, keep fit. And we all know what he's doing in the Championship. So there's no reason why, exactly that. I said exactly that, Alan. And there's no reason why Rhian Brewster can't do the same. If you can get him back to full fitness and get him firing, I think you've got a similar player there, really.
It's true. Right. Didn't they play together for the England under 21, Solanke and Brewster?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think they did. I think they know. Yeah, I think you're right.
Not surprise me. So at the start of the day, I was very nervous looking at Sheffield United and their home form. Weirdly, Johnny, you've made me feel a little bit more confident that you're not going to beat us 3 or 4-0. Another thing that's probably going to boost your confidence, so Johnny, and you probably know this, is we're not very good at Bramall Lane. I don't think we've won there for something like 35 years. And we obviously lost 2-1 in the Premier League. I think we took the lead in that game as well, if I can remember. Going to get your score prediction in a minute, Johnny, but this is a bit off topic, but I think it's a little bit relevant. Aaron Ramsdale, he picked up his 100th. Oh, that's interesting, actually. He picked up his 100th Premier League appearance, and he did thank both Sheffield United and Bournemouth for the contribution towards that. We love him as Bournemouth fans, and we happily sent him on his way. That reaction doesn't feel like it's the same with Sheffield United.
No, not my cup of tea. I didn't like him first time round before you bought him, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, he's very...
You wouldn't have him as England number 1 over Pickford then?
God, no. Over Pickford, maybe. Over Pickford, maybe. Maybe over Pickford. I think I'd have me in there over Pickford, to be honest.
Just quickly, Johnny, and what is it you don't rate about him? Is it something about his personality and his character, or something about his playing style?
A bit of both. I think if he's on form, he's got a world-class save in him.
Yeah.
If he's not feeling it that day, all you have to do is either stick it in a low bottom corner or knock it out of his immediate reach. His one-on-ones and his shot stopping with anything in immediate reach. So by immediate reach, I mean all he has to do is just maybe jump upwards. I think that is his cup of tea, bread and butter, can do that well. He gets hit with something that he doesn't like, so shot in the bottom corner, he's got face on for the rest of the game, and it affects how he plays. I think he's very temperamental. He likes a pat on the back. He needs to be loved. If he's not loved immediately, it affects his gameplay, and I don't like that in a player. I want a player to earn that love, if that makes sense. I want a player to kind of put in the performances. He came to Bramall Lane expecting to be a hero before he'd even walked on the grass, and he didn't enamor to his performances with his first few games, made a few crucial errors. He just didn't really bring himself to the hearts of Sheffield United fans, me especially, and then to slag us off in the press was even worse, I suppose.
Just quick point, Kirk, if I may, just to pick up on that, Johnny, what you're saying. I loved Rambo. I thought he was great for us, but I think he's a great PR man. I think he's very, very clever. The reason I think a lot of our fans love him is because he would do things like sit up in the stands with us when he wasn't playing. he'd be a big character off the field, you know. So he would want to get maybe on social media, things like that.
Yeah.
He's a great PR man, very, very clever on that side of things, to getting a fan base on his side, which he did extremely well with us. Not to say that he didn't have substance to his style, because he did really well, and he was our player of the season when we got relegated. But I sort of I don't agree with everything you said. It doesn't relate to how he was with us, but I can sort of relate to some of what you're saying, definitely.
Yeah. It was the same at Wimbledon. They loved him for the same stuff. He'd sit in the stands. I think when they got promoted, he was in the stands with like the big hat on and everything, celebrating with them. It was
punching his chest. Yeah,
very similar to Dean Henderson was for us, and we loved Dino, who I think is the better keeper out of all the England setup. But whatever he's rotting at Man U, he's never going to get that chance.
Yeah,
I think they're very, very similar keepers, very similar personalities. They both rate themselves really highly. I think Ramsdale's biggest problem is if you might not agree with this, I think if he has a bad game and you say he's had a bad game, he gets face on. Whereas if you tell Dino, he goes, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. I think that's the difference between the two. I think Victor's the same. I think he gets Mardies on far too easily. Whereas you want to keep it more level-headed.
Very, very interesting. One keeper you are going to have to try and beat tomorrow is Travers, and Alan wouldn't swap Rambo for Travers. He was great for us, made us loads of money too. Right, it was off topic, but it is a player that's played for both teams. But Johnny, tomorrow, 12:45 on Sky Sports. Can't really get a drink in, really, can we? But
it's Sheffield. You'll find one.
I'm leaving at 5:30 in the morning, so it should be absolutely fine to get there in time. Go on then, tomorrow. How are you feeling about the game? Score prediction?
Right. I've got two. So you might think I'm sitting on the fence, but it depends. If you play Billing and Cantwell, you win 1 or 2-0. If you don't play Billing and Cantwell, we sneak a 1-0 with it bouncing off somebody's arse or something like that. You know, like we have been doing the last few home games. It's either a 1-0 to us or you'll win by 1 or 2.
Well, it's going to be.
There's no draw in this one. There's definitely no draw in this one.
No, I'd probably go with that, to be fair. I don't think we'll play Billing and Cantwell, to be fair. So.
Good.
In theory, it's in theory. I hope not. I don't think that's worked when we've done it. But in theory, it's set up for a cracker. Johnny, it's been great to have you on. Make sure you check out Shoreham View. Details are in the description, including their preview. We hope you enjoy the game tomorrow, Johnny. After tomorrow, good luck for the rest of the season. If you do make the playoff final, good luck. But thanks for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
And
good luck for everything after the weekend.
Fantastic. We are not done here, though. We still got lots to go through. We're going to have a look at some of those players that might play tomorrow. We're going to do that predicted 11 and that score predictions as well. We're going to need your help. Let's continue. Make sure you subscribe to Cherries Red Army. Help us get to 900 subscribers. We're running out of weeks and games. Also hit the like button. Let's get a like count from someone in the chat. Matt, it was great to have Johnny on from Sheffield United Shoreham View. Just gives us a perspective of the other team, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does, and I love having the opposition view. To be honest, I love having these opposition fans on. We've had a few now, haven't we? And every one of them has come on. They give you a great insight. They get involved with a little bit of banter. You have a good discussion. They've got great knowledge, not just about their own team, but about football in general. And there's nothing better, is there? You get together with opposing fans. Yeah, you might follow a different football team, but at the end of the day, you've got that one common love, and that is football. And it's great to get together with fans from all over the country, other ends of the country, and talk about it, really. So really enjoy it.
And it just goes to prove, I like a stat. I don't like to go too much into stats because it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone, but I do like the odd stat. But it does go to show that the stats should make them favourites for tomorrow. But Johnny's come on there and said, look, we have won a lot of games at home and we're doing well under Higginbottom. But tell you what, it wouldn't be a surprise if they lost tomorrow. And I don't think they've lost at home since something like October. I might be wrong, but it's been a long time since they've lost at home.
Yeah, I just think it's the way football's evolved today, and particularly in the Championship. I think we're all looking for, excitement, aren't we? We're all looking to get up off the edge of our seats. We're all looking for our wingers to beat a man and to get. But the way the game is and the way teams, it's so. I think we've said this before, Kirk, haven't we? It's so scientific. It's so structured. It's so stringent. The work that goes on behind the scenes with coaching teams, with the science of it and everything else, it just makes it so difficult. So an opposition can easily set up to frustrate you. They can sit deep. They can sit tight to you. They can stifle you. They can stop you playing. And we're expected, particularly the onus is on a team like Bournemouth and probably Sheffield United with the squads of players that we've got, the quality and what we perceive as a great management team as well that should be able to, produce the goods. We're expectant every week, aren't we? But what we have to realise is it's competitive professional football at a high level in this championship, and the stakes are so high with what with the rewards that are on offer. So it's not a surprise to me that Johnny was saying that. I'm sure there's games that Sheffield United have that he's very frustrated with, and where there's a non-performance, and that's just the way it is. I think in this day and age, particularly, and in this division.
And Stephen Dyer agrees with you, Matt. We're going to go into that predicted 11 very soon. This is not going to be the same 11. I'm confident of that. Not really a presser today from Scott Parker. It's really weird with some of our pressers. We get them sometimes, we don't get them other times. Just talking on a few players, not specifically want you to draw me that pitch yet, Matt, but I am expecting changes. I do want to see the likes of Campwell. I think potentially there could be more changes than you would think, but then again, you don't want to upset that rhythm and play around with that balance too much. So it's a difficult one, isn't it?
It is very difficult. And again, we've said before, I know I have, that this is where Scott Parker really earns his money, because he's got a 30-man squad or whatever it is. And we're now in the, all season it's been like it, but certainly now we're sort of 2 games a week minimum, aren't we? So he's got to rotate that squad accordingly. He's got to keep them all happy. He's got to keep them all fresh as well. He's got to make sure he gets the right minutes into the right players, doesn't overwork them, but brings other players in when necessary and changes things up. But he's also got to look at making too many changes for change's sake. And I think we said off air, Kirk, didn't we? If he'd have made sweeping changes or any sort of changes Wednesday night and we still lost the game, then everybody would have been on his back then, wouldn't they? Saying, why'd you change it? We've just won 2 in a row, playing some of the best football we've seen since October, November. So it is a difficult balance. But I do feel like yourself, Kirk, that I think there has to be at least a couple of changes for this one tomorrow.
And I think we need to go into it. For this predicted 11, make sure you help us in the interactive chat, because this squad might look slightly different because we need to get a result at Bramall Lane. Let's do the predicted 11. And you will see that virtual pitch on the screen, and currently on that screen I put in Mark Travers. Lloyd Kelly maybe didn't have the best night in Birmingham, but he's captain. I expect him to play. Ryan Christie's further up the pitch alongside Dom Solanke. We're hearing he trained today, so any knock he picked up the other night, we think he'll be absolutely fine for tomorrow. Right, what we're going to do with this, Matt, I'm going to take that off the screen a minute. What we're going to want from you in the interactive chat is to put your back 4 in the interactive chat. So you've got about a minute. Let us know who you play in that back 4, because I think, Matt, that potentially there could be up to 3 changes. However, what I would say is you've just spoke about it as wholesale changes could knock that balance. Now, I'm going to throw it over to you in a minute, and I'm going to put who I would put in that back 4 and show it on the screen, and we'll try and meet in the middle. But yeah, how many changes would you make to that back 4?
1.
Okay, well, I'm going to show you who I would go for in this back 4, and then we'll show some on the screen of the interactive chat. So in there, for me, I wouldn't unbalance the left-hand side. I'd keep Samura, I'd keep Kelly. I'd actually bring Cahill in. Now, we all know that Cahill had a spell where he struggled with pace. I don't think pace potentially is an issue tomorrow, because I don't expect McBurnie to blow speed away from Cahill, etc. We need a bit of physicality, a bit of experience, and Cahill must be desperate to get back on the football pitch. And I think Jack Stacey deserves to come back into this side. That's what I would go for. Don't unbalance the left, change the right. How you feeling, Matt?
Spot on, exactly the same as me. Gary Cahill to come in for me. I mean, how he's not got any minutes in the side for what 3 months now. I mean, if somebody was to say, we've said this, haven't we? Again, another thing we're probably repeating ourselves on, but if somebody would have said to me in October, Gary Cahill will be out of the side come whenever it was, January, and he won't play again until at least mid-April, you'd be like, what? Yeah, because we are missing. I feel that we're missing leaders. We're missing real leadership in that football team throughout the 11. Lewis Cook has stepped up. He's a potential leader. There's not enough of it. Lloyd Kelly for me is captain, but is he a leader? Is he very vocal? Does he organise? Does he really get the team going when it's needed? Is he that steel? Has he got that experience? And that ability to do that? Probably not at the moment. So for me, as much as Nat Phillips is coming in, he has done a job. And I appreciate his quality and what he can bring. Yeah, I think tomorrow is tailor-made for Gary Cahill. You're going to Bramall Lane, full house of nearly 30,000 going to be there. Cahill's been in these situations many a time. It needs somebody with experience and leadership that's going to stand up and be counted in there tomorrow within our back four, I think. And it's perfect for Gary Cahill. McBurnie won't offer him too many problems, I don't think. He can get to grips with him. So, yeah, I totally agree, Kirk, with that back five, including the keeper.
And although I know Smith is a go-to person, I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Stacey starts tomorrow. So I'm going to throw it in there. I know the concept of this is to go for the predicted 11 that Scott Parker might pick. But, it could happen. He could make 2 changes. Let's go for that back four. Let's move up then to that middle 3. We want your middle 3 then in midfield. We want your holding midfielder. We expect 2 ahead potentially. So now in the chat, let us know who you'd play those 3 midfielders. Lewis Cook's been absolutely fantastic for a while now. He's picked up Player of the Month, Man of the Matches. He's been fantastic, but I'm just thinking whether he potentially needs a rest. There's also potentially a rest needed for Jeff Lerma because he came back from international break. Then he played against Bristol City, struggled the other night a little bit. And Philip Billing, another player that Scott Parker definitely relies on, Matt. He doesn't like to sub Billing at any point. Billing's numbers are very good, and I understand why he plays. I wouldn't play Billing and Cantwell in the same team, especially away from home. Well, not in the middle, but I'm playing Cantwell tomorrow for me.
Yeah, I agree again. And just going back to the back four, I said I'd make one change. I noticed you snuck Stacey, and I'm not disagreeing with that. I don't think he'll do it. He'll probably keep with Smithy, but he didn't cover himself in glory, did he, Adam Smith, on Wednesday night? He has come back in and he has been brilliant, and he can be a leader. He can be a leader. He's got experience, obviously. So between Smith and Stacey, I wouldn't. Maybe I'd keep Smithy in there for tomorrow, but I get what you're saying with Jack Stacey. But anyway, moving on then to the midfield. I think Lerma and Cook have formed a great partnership, and I think tomorrow you're going to need that experience and that steel within the midfield. He doesn't seem to want to play Ben Pearson, does he? Only in fits and starts, as a bit part player. Doesn't trust him, obviously, to start the game. So I think I'd probably stay with Lewis, but providing they're fit enough. I know they played Saturday, Wednesday, and then Saturday again. I agree with what's coming on the screen there from both Sammy and Carol. I think let's stick with Cook and Lerma. They might be both a little bit more deep lying tomorrow, just to stifle Sheffield United in that midfield and sort of gain control of that midfield area. Having said that, I totally agree. I think Philip Billing is a mood player, isn't he? Parker loves him. We all love him when he's on form, but he drifts in and out of games, and he's doing it again now, isn't he? Ineffective, not weighing in with many numbers at the moment, from what I can see. I don't think he had a greatest game on Wednesday night. Goes missing, doesn't he? Time and time again. Maybe time to pull him out for a game and bring Todd Cantwell in, who's been with the football club, a couple of months now, and hasn't really set the world alight. Let's be honest. We've seen it in glimpses from Cantwell, haven't we? I'd like to see a lot more. I know he's capable of a lot more because we've seen it when he's played for Norwich City, particularly at this level. So the time is now for Todd, isn't it? For Todd Cantwell to step up. So let's give him the opportunity to do that tomorrow with Lerma and Cook as the protection behind him. Gives him a free role in the number 10, where I think he's best. He's at his most menacing in that role behind the front three. Give him a go. Give him a start.
Definitely. And I do love Todd Cantwell. I think there's an absolute player in there that we can definitely make use of and help us in this promotion. And we just need to get him going. So let's move up to that front three. We need your front three now in the chat. Let us know who you'll play. For me, Ryan Christie will start. I think we'll go with Ryan Christie. I think he's been a lot better of late again. I think his form does dip in and out at times. Just needs to add a few more goals to his game. Dom Solanke, if fit, will be up there after scoring 24 league goals this season. And then, Matt, it comes over to the left. I think Anthony got going again in the last few games. Then he's sort of come in and out of games. Dembele showed his worth against Bristol City. Can he do it from the start? Or does Lowe come in again and have his opportunity from the start? Although I'm not really a fan of Lowe at the start, although he's been very effective off the bench.
Very effective. I mean, I do feel a little bit sorry for Jamal Lowe, because what part of me thinks, what is he? Is he a striker? Is he a winger? Or is he neither? What the hell is he in this formation? Or the way we set up, the way we play, does he even fit within it? And a lot of the time, you'd have to say no, probably not. But then he's weighed in with goals, isn't he? You know, I think he scored, what was it, 2 until 3 and 3, and then Parker dropped him. So I do feel sorry. You know, he will argue that his main job is to come into the football team and score goals, and he's done that, and he's contributed in a lot of different ways. But tomorrow, I think Jadon Anthony again, it has come in. I'm tempted. I'm tempted to. I've just seen what Alan's put there on screen. I'm not sure about Anthony. I'm tempted to go with it. I mean, we're assuming that Ryan Christie's going to be fit enough, aren't we? We're assuming that these players are able to start again. The likes of Ryan Christie and Jeff Lerma and Lewis Cook, etc. So we're assuming that. We don't know what whether they're going to be fit enough to go again. We're hoping so. So I'm hoping so with Ryan Christie. But I would probably go, if you press me for one, I'd probably go Dembele. Yeah. Which is what you've put in there to give him an opportunity. I would,
and the chat seems to go with that as well. Just want to sort of bring this one to the screen as well. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see Parker doing it, but I have pushed for that the last few weeks. Mark Cole said it, to play Cantwell off the left, which he has done in the past for Norwich City. I don't expect Parker to do it, but there is a way to get Billing and Cantwell in the team potentially within this run in these final 8 games. Don't expect it to happen. I think he does like that natural width. I understand it. Yeah. I just don't like seeing Cantwell on the bench. End of. No. But that looks like our predicted 11 for this game. We all seem to be in agreement, don't we, Matt? And I think we're going to lock it in, aren't we?
Yeah, I think lock it in. I think final point on Dembele, I think he has got the pace, and he does seem to be the one player that can beat a man. And I think we need, in a front three, you need that from your wingers, and maybe Christie the other side. So let's give Dembele another try and see what he can do.
We're going to lock it in. That's our predicted 11 for tomorrow afternoon's early kickoff against Sheffield United. If you weren't able to join us live, do you agree or disagree? Definitely let us know in the comments. And we've got those score predictions coming really, really soon. How are you feeling? Are you still confident? Can the Cherries get back to winning ways? We're going to want them. Stay with us. And if Bournemouth can get a result early doors tomorrow, they can sit back. We can sit back on the way home if you go into the game and watch the rest of the Championship and hope that some of the results go our way. In the Championship tomorrow, Sheffield United versus AFC Bournemouth. Blackburn take on Blackpool. Bristol City are home to Peterborough. Middlesbrough take on Hull City. Millwall against Barnsley. Nottingham Forest against Birmingham. Preston against QPR. Reading against Cardiff. Swansea take on Derby. West Brom against Stoke. Fulham Coventry. Huddersfield, Luton. Some of those games then, Matt, I want to come to one team in just a minute. But as I said, if we can get the job done, we can then watch the rest of the Championship fight it out.
Yeah, the rewards are there. The incentive is there for us once again, isn't it? Just like it was a couple of weeks ago. We know that if we go out and perform like we know we can perform, we can win the football match. And winning the football match equals really cementing our place in that top 2 with the run-in coming up, the final 6 or 7 games. So massive incentive, as it is for Sheffield United as well. They'll be feeling the same, that they'll want to do, at least they'll cement their place in the top 6. And I think it will suit us. I really do. I think Huddersfield were a team that wanted to come out at home. The onus very much on them to go out and win the game. And I think Sheffield United will do the same. They'll want to pick up points here. They'll want to win the football match in front of an expectant home crowd. And I think that does suit us massively.
Definitely. And if anyone doesn't know, it's going on in the chat at the moment. It's a 12:45 kickoff tomorrow on Sky Sports, if you need to know. And we're getting to that moment in the preview where we want to know how you're feeling about the game, the score predictions, your 1 minute warning to put your score prediction in the chat. Place it in there now. We're going to show them on the screen in a bit. We'll give you our score predictions as well. And whilst that's going on, Matt, the last few weeks, it seems like one team outside of us and in the playoffs is sort of threatening to knock us out of the automatic positions. At one point, it was Huddersfield, beat them, dealt with them. They ain't going to cause us a problem. Hang on, watch out for Luton. They're in form. Then they drop points. Now, Twitter's going mad and everywhere else is going mad. And that's including the Cherries fans, not just the Nottingham Forest fans, saying, Bournemouth ain't going to do this. Forest have got a favourable running. I don't think there is such a thing as a favourable running in the Championship. It doesn't work like that. They have some nice fixtures. But I'm going to show you on the screen. Let's just have a look at Nottingham Forest, who have played the same amount of games as us, but they are 5 points below us. Okay, now they're running on the screen here, Matt. Say we don't win tomorrow. They've got Birmingham at home. They win that. Fine. They're 5 points behind us after that. Then they've got to go and play Luton away and West Brom at home. Say they don't pick up many points from that and we go beat Middlesbrough and Coventry over Easter. It's on its head again. Yeah.
You're right, Kirk. There's no such thing as an easy run-in. But in this division at the best of times, let alone the final, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games of the season when the pressure is on. Again, big club like Nottingham Forest with now in it a very expectant home crowd and away crowd because they take thousands away as well. They'll be getting excited now. They'll fancy it. The pressure will start to mount on them a little bit. Yes, it's on us. You could argue more so. It's ours to lose, isn't it? But
100%.
Oh, 100%. Of course it is. Yeah, even if. Let's just say we get beaten tomorrow and Forest it's still ours to lose. We've got Forest at home yet. And I've actually got a mate who's a Nottingham Forest fan. And he's saying, I'll tell you what, that Bournemouth game against Forest could be the decider. Whereas a long way to go before we get to that scenario, isn't there, really? So we've just got to worry about ourselves. We just got to worry about ourselves, pick up the points that we need to pick up and not worry about anybody else, Kirk, really, because it's firmly in our hands as it has been most of the season.
I mean, I'm not worried at this stage.
No.
I know it's not over. I know we're not mathematically up. But when I look at it, I'd love to be 5 points clear going into the last 7 games, something like that. And Forest will drop points. I worked out, Matt, that even if we lost tomorrow, lost to Fulham, lost to Nottingham Forest, and we won, say, 4 or 5, Forest would have to win every game. And they're not going to win every single game. I know they're on a ridiculous run at the moment, but I put my house on it. They're not going to win every game. I will say it. I said it last week. I'll say it again. If we do not go up automatically, it is a failure. It will be an absolute catastrophe from where we are. Not based on how many games we've got left, but because of the points that we dropped against teams like Blackpool. Shouldn't say the word like because it gets you in trouble on YouTube, but dropping points against Blackpool, dropping points against Coventry 2-0 up, dropping points against Peterborough, Reading. It will be a failure if we don't go up automatically from here. But even if we do lose 3 or 4 matches, I think we still go up.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think looking at those fixtures, looking at Forest, looking at the league as a whole with other teams playing each other, it could be, what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 games. It could be that we only need to win 3 of those 8 games and maybe draw another one. And that might well be enough to sneak us over the line in second. So it's very much in our hands. You mentioned it'll be a disaster if we don't go up from here. It'll be an absolute unmitigated disaster. I mean, that's been the case since October, really. I mean, we put ourselves in such a strong position that if we throw it away from here, we'll never get a better opportunity. In my opinion, if we throw it away from here, we don't get up ever again. That's the way I'm looking at it. With the teams coming down and the parachute payments reducing, we will never have a better opportunity. If we don't do it from here, it's unforgivable.
You're absolutely spot on, and I'm in the same boat. But whilst we're still here, whilst we've still got the points, whilst we've still got the gap, let's not panic. Let's not panic
No,
yet. Look, we
absolutely.
need to get a
Correct.
result tomorrow. We need to get at least a draw. We're in the driving seat. Let's go to those score predictions, though. Totally agree, Matt. Totally agree. Thanks for joining us this evening, Neil. Thanks for getting involved in the interactive chat. He's going for a draw, probably 1-1. And you know what? Any result tomorrow is good for me. 1-1 as well from AFC Bournemouth, Germany. Chris Hubble's going straight in. Beat Sammy to it. The famous Cherries 3-1. If Cahill plays, we don't lose, I think Alan's saying there. Stephen Dyer, he's coming here. Come out fighting. 3-0 win. That would be nice. That'd be a great away day. Match day vlog. Don't miss that one if that happens. Ron the Pug, thanks for joining us. 1-1. And then we've got Mark Cole going in. Depends on what Bournemouth performance turns up. We'll take a draw, but go for a 2-1. Andrew's life log, 3-2. Belter for Sky Sports. Sammy is going for the famous 3-1. Stu, 3 more wins will do it. Stephen agrees with me. Appreciate that. Carol, might see you next week against Borough at Dean Court. She's going for Sheffield United 1, AFC Bournemouth 2. Morgan, Cherries supporter member, 2-0 clean sheet. And Sammy's a trendsetter. Matt, some good scores in there. Some I'm definitely going to relate to in a minute when I give my score prediction. How are you feeling tomorrow?
I'm feeling strangely confident because of the last performance. I feel that the last 2 performances prior to that, the Huddersfield game and the Bristol City game, gave us a lot of cause for optimism. The results went for us. We showed what we're capable of. And it showed that, particularly Huddersfield away, that when we come to a crucial game and the team's going to come out against us, that they're going to want to play football and attack us and go for the jugular as much as we need to as well. The game opens up and we've got more quality. And I think that could be the case tomorrow. I really do. I think that could be the case. I'm not saying that it'll be a plain sailing like it was really against Huddersfield. I think it might not be quite as straightforward as that, because I think Sheffield United potentially are a better team and a bigger club, and they'll make the stadium a cauldron tomorrow. They'll have the fans behind them, and they have got some real quality. But I do feel that we have got more than enough quality to cause them problems. So Sammy is indeed a trendsetter, I think, because I'm going to go 3-1 as well.
3-1, the famous Cherries Red Army. And the team are already in Sheffield, I'm sure of that. Scott Parker's kicking back in the hotel. He's feeling confident tomorrow, Matt. He's feeling confident. He's going to play Campbell. He's going to give Billing a rest. He's going for a 4-0 win. Our manager there. And Sammy's just agreeing with you. Yep. Agreeing with some of those score predictions in the chat. 1-1 for me would be a good result. I would take that. I don't expect Sheffield United to score many goals. Johnny doesn't convince me they'll score many goals, but look, I didn't think West Brom would do much, and they did quite a bit in the first 12 minutes. But I think we get a result tomorrow. If I was to say we'll win, I would go with a 2-1 as well. But a point, then we go home next week against Middlesbrough, and I am definitely confident for that one, even though they are managed by Chris Wilder. Right. There's your score predictions. It's been an interesting preview as always. We really enjoy these type of previews, acting live, getting involved, having opposition guests. And that's why we want you to subscribe to Cherries Red Army and help us grow and get to 900, because we are so close. So if you know someone who doesn't follow Cherries Red Army, tell them, ask them to subscribe just down below. And also hit the like button. Thank you for everyone encouraging people to hit the like button, because that also helps this video grow as well. And your interactive chats have been very fun. We can't also go away, can we, Matt, without thanking our channel supporter members. Because of you, we are able to do these types of streams because it helps pay for our software. So thanks to Mike, Mark, Rich, Richard, Sammy, Steve, Paul, Neil, Aaron, Morgan, and Roy. You can become a channel supporter member or donate if you wish by going to buymeacoffee.com/cherriesredarmy. I think I just pinned that in the chat, and it's also in the description. But we're there. I mean, we've done all the talking now, Matt. It's over to the team and Scott Parker. We just want a positive performance. There's fans that may have gone up today and travelling early in the morning. Just want to see the team do well and take something from Bramall Lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you rightly say, a draw wouldn't be a disastrous result at all. But we said this, or I certainly said it pre-Huddersfield. I said, yeah, I'll take a draw all day long. Let's just take a 1-1 or a 2-2 and get the hell out of there. But we know that it can be better than that. We know we're capable of more, and I'm wanting that tomorrow. I'm wanting to see a response from the West Brom game, which was poor. We didn't turn up, so I'm hoping tomorrow we do. And if we do, and we play to our full potential, we win. For me, we win the football match. I think we could say that against any other team in the division, and I include Fulham in that. I think if we turn up and we play to our absolute maximum and our full potential, we win every game in this division. If we don't, and we drop our levels off, and we're not at it, and we're not committed, we're not hungry, we haven't got don't show the desire, the togetherness, all those attributes that you need to win at this level in this division, then we don't win the football match. That is the only difference, because the quality is there. We know that. So yeah, let's have it.
Thank you for the lovely comments in the chat. Really appreciate it. It makes it all worthwhile when we put all the clips together just to make it look a little bit more entertaining. Thank you, Matt. We'll see you again soon, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Pleasure, Kirk. Always a pleasure to come on. And thanks to everybody watching, everybody that's subscribing, anybody that hasn't subscribed, please do so, because we really appreciate it. And thanks to our channel subscribers as well. Really, really much appreciated.
Well said. Well said. If you're in Sheffield, don't drink too much. Don't stay up too late. It's an early kickoff, because Matt's done that before, and he likes a croissant with his fry up. Remember, if you've ever seen a vlog on Back of the Net, I think that one was on.
It was.
If you're going up early in the game, if you're going up to the game early in the day, make sure you drive safe. Have a great day. If you're watching the Cherries wherever you are, try and enjoy it if you can. And of course, Cherries Red Army will be delivering a match day vlog at some point over the weekend, likely to be Sunday. If I can just get a little bit of sleep in between, we will sort you out. Then we'll be back round next week for our preview, probably Thursday for Middlesbrough. But just follow our socials and hit the notification bell, then you'll know when it's coming out. But that's from me and Matt. Thanks for Johnny from the Shoreham View. Make sure you check them out, because they've done a preview as well. But tomorrow is the David Brooks derby. No one's going to raise me on Lys Musette. It's all about David Brooks in the 7th minute. Maybe a Cherries goal in the 7th minute. And we may not have beaten Sheffield United at Bramall Lane for 35 years. At some point, that's got to end. From me and Matt, thanks for joining us. Come on, the Cherries. We need to get a decent result tomorrow. Continue our progression towards promotion. Have a good weekend. Get behind the team. We'll see you soon. Up the Cherries.
Up the Cherries.